Friday, September 5th, 2025, AGNDD intelliReport topic. Joseph Francis Shea. Please pardon any visual and informational inaccuracies in this entirely AI-generated Wikipedia-sourced video article. Joseph Shea, from Bronx roots and Navy service to pioneering systems engineering and ICBMs and aerospace innovation. Joseph Shea was born on September 5, 1925 in the Bronx, the eldest son of a working-class Irish Catholic family. His father was a mechanic for the New York City subway. As a child, Shea aspired to be a professional athlete and showed no interest in engineering. He graduated from Catholic high school at 16 in 1943. Enlisting in the U.S. Navy, he studied at Dartmouth, MIT, and the University of Michigan, earning a B.S. in Mathematics 1946, M.Sc. 1950, and Ph.D. in Engineering Mechanics 1955. During his doctorate, he taught and worked at Bell Labs. After earning his doctorate, Joseph Shea joined Bell Labs in Whippany, New Jersey, as a systems engineer on the Titan I ICBM's hybrid radio inertial guidance system, later becoming development manager for the Titan II's inertial system. Specializing in systems engineering, he integrated large-scale projects, contributing innovations and strong management to Titan I's success, as noted by George Muller. Known for his intellect, puns, Red Sox, and dedication, sleeping in his office, Shea delivered on time and budget, building his aerospace reputation. In 1961, he moved to TRW's Space Technology Laboratories for further ballistic missile work. In December 1961, NASA invited Joseph Shea to interview for Deputy Director of the Office of Manned Spaceflight, OMSF. Director D. Brainerd Holmes sought a systems engineering expert to oversee the Apollo program. Recommended by an advisor who knew Shea from Bell Labs, Shea, despite less than a year at Space Technology Labs, was drawn to the challenge. He later recalled seeing NASA's need for talent and feeling confident in his abilities. Joseph Shea joined NASA in Shea built consensus between rival NASA centers, convincing Wernher von Braun's Marshall team of LOR's superiority. NASA adopted LOR on July 11, 1962. He later resolved engineering conflicts, forming a panel review board in 1963 to enhance intercenter coordination, boosting Apollo's efficiency. In October 1963, Joseph Shea became manager of NASA's Apollo Spacecraft Program Office, overseeing command and lunar module development. He criticized contractor North American Aviation's disorganization and imposed strict engineering discipline using a weekly notebook for oversight. Tensions arose with North American's Harrison Storms, who blamed NASA for design changes. Shea, viewed as an outsider, clashed with colleagues at the Manned Spacecraft Center and Marshall Space Flight Center, where Wernher von Braun resisted Shea's top-down approach. Shea supported all-up Saturn V testing, overriding Marshall's incremental method to meet Apollo's tight schedule. During testing of the Apollo command module, concerns arose about flammable materials like Velcro in the pure oxygen cabin. At the August 19, 1966 review, NASA manager Joe Shea dismissed fire risks but ordered compliance with safety rules. The crew humorously gifted him a photo of them praying over a model. Despite orders, little action was taken. On January 27, 1967, during a plugs-out test, a fire erupted at 5:31 p.m. CST, killing astronauts Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger Chaffee, who couldn't escape the sealed spacecraft. Following the Apollo 1 fire, Joseph Shea and his team rushed to Kennedy Space Center. Arriving by 1 a.m., he helped form the NASA Review Board and served as deputy to George Mueller, overseeing the investigation. As part of an advisory group, Shea worked 80-hour weeks. The fire stemmed from an electrical short, likely a chafed wire, in a pure oxygen environment. Blame shifted between NASA's management for oxygen pressurization and North American Aviation's workmanship. Haunted by guilt, Shea kept the crew's portrait in his home for years. Following the Apollo 1 fire, NASA manager Joe Shea suffered severe psychological strain, turning to barbiturates and alcohol for sleep. Colleagues, including those who sobbed during travel or had Following the Apollo 1 fire investigation, Joseph Shea was reassigned from the Apollo Spacecraft Program Office to NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C. as deputy to George Mueller, with George Low taking his place. Viewing it as a demotion and attempt to silence him from Congress, Shea grew dissatisfied with the non-job. Just 6 months after the fire and 2 months into the role, he left NASA in July 1967 to become a vice president at Polaroid Corporation, avoiding congressional testimony. Joseph Francis Shea joined Raytheon in 1968, rising to senior vice president for engineering, 1981 to 1990, before retiring. He then became an adjunct professor at MIT. In 1993, NASA appointed him to chair a review board for the International Space Station redesign, but health issues arose. After a disorganized presentation at a meeting, he resigned as chair, serving instead as a special advisor amid speculation of controversy. Shea died on February 14, 1999, in Weston, Massachusetts, survived by his wife Carol, 6 daughters, and 1 son. This bibliography compiles historical sources on NASA's Apollo program, focusing on key figures like Joseph F. Shea, mission control, lunar rendezvous concepts, and managerial challenges. It includes books, for example Murray and Cox's Apollo, The Race to the Moon, oral histories, articles from the Washington Post and Time, and NASA chronologies. Topics span spacecraft development, redesign efforts, and cultural conflicts at Marshall Space Flight Center, 1960s to 1990s. Total, 18 entries emphasizing engineering, policy, and human stories behind the moon race. Shea's foundational work in missile systems propelled him toward NASA's Apollo triumphs, cementing his legacy as a brilliant aerospace pioneer.
Thank you for watching this AGNDD intelliReport, dear viewers. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell button to get notified during new uploads. And make sure to tune in next time. Stay safe and healthy. Cheers.